Hey, this is Schuyler from themixingprocess.com, and in today's video I want to walk through how to set gain structure and use a preamp. This is a subject that's really confusing to a lot of people because when you say gain, they think of volume and they think of the little knob at the top of a console that you can twist and it makes the signal louder or quieter. Well, gain and volume are actually two completely different things, and a preamp only works with gain. And so I want to walk through that process and kind of explain what that looks like. And to do that and illustrate that, I'll use this microphone here in front of me. So as I'm speaking, my voice is an analog signal, and it goes into the microphone, it hits the diaphragm of that microphone, and that diaphragm converts that analog signal into a low-level digital signal. We call that low-level signal mic level, and that signal goes through the cable and goes into the interface and runs into the preamp. The preamp is always the first thing in the signal path, and the job of the preamp is to convert that low-level digital signal into a strong, high-resolution digital signal as well. And we call that strong signal line level, okay? So a preamp does this because it's a power source. It adds voltage to the signal, converting it into that high-level signal that we're looking for. And like I said, that high-level signal is called line level. Line level is the point on a meter that says the signal is optimized for that console. So I'm going to pull up a couple different meters here. This one on the left is called a dBFS meter. It starts down here at infinity, goes all the way up to 0. This is where it would clip. And then right here at -18 is line level on that meter. On this one over here, it starts out at infinity, goes up to 0, and then goes up to +18, and 0 is the line level on this one. So they're a little bit different, but they tell us the same thing. They tell us where line level is. Now, once you know where that line level is, you can then set the RMS or average signal to be right at line level. Now with the average signal, you're gonna have peaks slightly above or below, but the average is gonna be right at line level. Now, why is line level important? The biggest reason it's important is because of resolution. And when I say resolution, think of maybe you're looking at a picture. So if a picture is grainy and really blurry, we would say that that picture is in low resolution. The same concept applies to audio. When you gain that signal up to line level, you're using that full 24 bits of resolution. If you don't get there, you're losing resolution, and it's going to be a lower quality piece of audio. So this is important because consoles and circuit designs are made to be optimized at line level. They're made to expect to see line level coming in, process line level, and then export line level. So this will affect any monitor mixes or in-ear mixes or broadcast mixes or anything, or even plugins that you're using to process that audio. It will affect all of those things because, like I said, the preamp is the first thing in that signal path. And additionally, if it's cumulative, so if each channel is just a little bit off, if it's maybe missing a few bits here, a few bits there, if you're working on a project with 5 channels, it's probably not going to make that big of a difference. But if you're doing a project with 40, 50, 60 channels, which isn't at all uncommon, you're going to have a lot of issues because you're just going to be turning up a bunch of noise. Like as you push up your faders, you're turning up really low resolution audio, and that'll just amplify a bunch of noise. So you want to make sure to get your gain up to where it should be to utilize that full resolution. So another thing is some people are so afraid of clipping that they run the gain a little bit low and then they say, oh, I'll just add volume after the fact. Well, the reason this doesn't work is because remember what a preamp does. It actually converts that signal by adding voltage. When you change volume, it doesn't have that same effect. So that's how the two concepts are completely different. Volume is actually the very last thing that happens in your signal path. The preamp and gain is the very first thing that happens. So there's another aspect of this that's kind of the art side of this whole process. So we've talked about the side of you just kind of gain it up until it's right at the where the meter says line level is. Well, there's actually a little bit more to the story as well. And that is that when you turn up your gain, you're adding voltage to the signal like we talked about, but you're also, that process changes the tonality of that signal. So it's not just making the signal stronger, it's actually changing kind of what it sounds like. And it does that because digital preamps are made to emulate analog preamps. Analog preamps were designed to have a sweet spot in them. So as you cranked up the gain on it, it would have increased amounts of compression or distortion or different things, different components of the personality of that preamp. So like I said, every preamp had a sweet spot, and the objective was to get the signal into that sweet spot. The trick is to be able to turn that gain up until you can really hear the tonality of that preamp, and you can make sure the preamp is sounding its best. Now, it's no coincidence that a lot of times when you find that sweet spot, it happens to be right where the level says, or the meter says that it is at line level. That's the manufacturer saying, I designed this preamp to sound its very best at line level. So that's the best way to do it. Gain up your preamp until it sounds the best, and then use digital trim if it's too loud in order to get your faders into optimum fader resolution, which is at unity. So in general, you want to be mixing it with your faders right around, 5 to 10 dB on either side of line level. So in order to do that, you have to use the trim sometimes to pull that down. So get the preamp where it's sounding the very best and use the trim to set your fader resolution where you want to have it. So hopefully that explanation was helpful, kind of cleared up some confusion for you. If you're a new mixer and you're trying to understand these processes of compression and gain and EQ, I have a tool that I made on my website, themixingprocess.com. The PDF is called the 7-Step Mix. You can download it completely for free, and it'll walk you through the 7 steps that I take in every mix, like compression, EQ, setting your gain, using effects, doing all those different things. It walks you through so you won't miss any of those important steps. It'll teach you how to do that systematically to have a good, consistent mix. Hope this video was helpful for you. Go check out that download on themixingprocess.com, and I'll see you next time.